What on earth is going on here?
Well, we've got the red campion. I don't feel safe unless I've actually got this on. This is my tradition now of having red campion in my hat. Since having this, I haven't gone in. Touch wood. Isn't it a balance as well?
Yeah.
One would just look ridiculous.
Well,
you know, you need two on this kind of
You're going to test this theory on the Crake today?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Lena, what is he like?
I'm quite interested in going paddling with this young man called Spoons. The red campion, I've been told, is his safety net.
Yeah.
So I will be ensuring that he has that on all the time. So we have a fun and eventful day. His attire is much to be desired. Keeping it real since 1978 is what I've been
There's
told.
not a lot that's very real about Spoons, I don't think.
I think today will be eventful, if nothing else. I'm looking for. No, it's a first. It's a first. Yeah. We will have fun, if nothing else. Yeah. If nothing else.
Lena, you were saying there were some memories of this area.
Yes, this was when Raymond Goodwin decided to try and teach me to sail. I think that was the first weekend we went out. It was very nearly the last. We started from this side, Swallows and Amazon's little island, and we sailed over to Water Park. He didn't do too badly because it's been 14 years and I'm still there. But yes, it brought back some very nice memories, thank you.
Okay, good. But the first time on the Crake?
This is going to be my first time on the Crake, so I'm looking forward to that. I've only ever paddled down to the mouth of it and then not been down, so today will be a nice little adventure with Paul and Paul.
Paul and Paul.
Paul and Paul, fabulous.
Spoons.
Hello.
You going fishing?
Go fishing. Got my Simon Cowles on as well. They're all pulled up nicely. Looking good.
Nice.
So yeah, ready to go.
Good stuff.
This one.
And what is it you're looking forward to about this one?
Well, I've done quite a lot of open water, but this is going to be quite fast, quite narrow as well. There's a bit of grade 3 in it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting for me. I haven't paddled on anything like this before, so yeah, should be good fun. Might get a little bit wet, but that's all part of it. So
indeed.
No problem
Awesome.
whatsoever.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Well, we'll finish getting packed and ready to go.
Yeah, ready sorted.
Nice.
And so we were off in beautiful weather on Coniston water. Even the hills were clear, which is somewhat unusual for the Lake District. I've paddled the Crake before, a few times in winter, never in summer, and this was going to be something new for me as well. And the thing that became immediately apparent was the presence of foliage. I remember this little section of submerged willows towards the end of the lake where it flows into the top of the river, and here we had to really thread our way through, find almost what was a secret entrance. Still slack water here though, so no real issue. Once we were through our little secret entrance to Narnia, it was a different world. Lovely little creek, sunshine coming through the trees, dappled sunshine, and just a beautiful day to be out paddling. But before too long we had our first obstacle, a tree hazard right across the river, and in stronger flows this would be a real danger.
Lena, I think if you end up with that in the water, next you're going to end up knocking yourself off the tree. I think you need to climb over the other side. Because as soon as the bow hits the water, it's going to move towards you if you stood downstream of it.
The obstacle successfully negotiated, we were back to our lovely gin clear gentle brook, but I knew there was something more demanding not too far ahead. The first significant rapid on the river just around a little bend is a technical rocky grade 3, which is hard to inspect from the top.
Yeah, there is. I'd be aiming to get in that eddy. You could run it through as long as you, but the problem is you're going to get pushed this way a lot. And the entrance at the top's not nice because of that rock and that tree. This is why it's grade 3, not grade 2. Because it's awkward.
A little disconcerting halfway down the rapid was a red canoe wrapped around a rock from someone's previous mishap. Anyway, I was to go first and I decided to just drop down the side of the top part of the rapid.
That's not that bad.
The pool I'd hit was only just broad enough to fit my 15-foot canoe. Just enough room to get turned around and then eddy out again.
Yeah, that was nice. That felt good. That's something to remember. How does that feel? Thinking about it, planning it, doing it. How did it feel? That sense of flow, going with it, working with a plan but using the skill. That was nice. That was good. Pinball.
A bouncy run for both Spoons and Lena, but they were intact and still in their boats at the bottom. Then a run down a narrow little section which was very pleasant, but again another tree hazard ahead. And so we were getting a feel for the Crake. It's a fast little creek of a river. The water levels had dropped since the previous week. There hadn't been any rain, but this is a river that goes up and down quite a lot, and in past bridges have been washed away on this river. You're never quite sure what debris you're going to find. I've paddled this river before, but only in winter, and I do remember the tree snags. I remember the fences coming down into the side of the river and gates, but every time you paddle a river, it's different. You have to be cautious, and on this river with limited visibility we were having to be very cautious.
Hard right on this. Yep.
And of course the other issue for a leader on a limited visibility river like this is keeping an eye on your group and good communication. In addition, today what I was finding I was having a bit of trouble with, as you can see here, it's a good representation, is looking into the shadows to see what was going on, particularly wearing sunglasses because it was so sunny. I think this film's a good representation. It's hard to see until your eyes adjust what's going on.
Just be careful of the trees here. Okay, back paddle, back paddle, already out. Can you see Lena? Is she okay? Needs to empty it? Okay. Hit one of these eddies, Lena. I don't really know what's going on in all that mess ahead. We've got some water in. Just mind that stuff, that's hemlock water dropwork, which has got a bit of a nasty set of chemicals in it. Give you a rash. And I know you're quite sensitive to things. Yeah. This is mental. Yeah. It's just all this flow into trees is a bit unnerving. Yeah. And it's quite strong.
It's decidedly
yeah.
While Lena finished emptying some water, Spoons did a quick scout ahead on foot to look around the other side of the bush and saw that it was clear. So I went through and then we all popped through one by one, but we were going to have to keep together because it was tight and low visibility going forwards as far as we could see.
Yeah. Well, I'm happier on the right than on the left. Yeah. I can get out on the right. Yeah. Let's go!
I was keen to keep everyone together for good line of sight, as limited as it was, and good communications to keep an eye on each other and to make sure that everyone was aware of what was coming up and that everyone was aware of where everyone else was and if they were okay. This was something that's easier said than done on the Crake. With all this foliage, it's very different to the winter. The green foliage makes a big difference at this time of year in the height of summer.
Can you see Lena? You what? She's in. Is she in or not?
Lena had to jump out of her boat as it got snagged on a branch. She was shouting she was okay though. So Spoons waited for Lena while she rectified her boat, and I waited for them here before we set off again on our adventure in an increasingly densely wooded stream. We eventually broke out of the narrow, deep, willow-lined section that was dense and a little bit jungle-like, and back onto some rocky sections with some flow and a little bit of white water, and this made for a pleasant run down for the next section, a little less stressful than the previous. But this section wasn't without its interesting little features too. As the river divided and went around obstacles and down separate channels, we certainly had to have our wits about us.
Can you see Lena? She good? Let's just wait for her to catch up with us. We're getting too spread out here.
The densely foliated areas had been somewhat slow going, and we hoped now that we had a bit more space and a bit more flow that we'd make good progress. This was, after all, only supposed to be a day trip.
You've got very floppy campions now, mate. You've got very floppy campions. You look like two floppy ears now. Like little floppy Snoopy ears. No, they're still there. Nicely done, sir. It's real changeable, this, isn't it? It's fun. It keeps you on your toes.
The back of these houses indicated we were coming into the section above Spark Bridge. There's a grade 3 rapid at Bobbin Mill, and directly before that there is a weir which then runs down to a low bridge. And we'd noticed in driving along the road above this section earlier in the day when we were doing our shuttle with vehicles that one aperture of the bridge had flood debris in it as well. So there are a few obstacles to negotiate here and no easy way of inspecting or portaging. Heading down towards the bridge and the rocky rapid beyond with a boat full of water was not my plan, so I made for the rock in the centre to beach the boat and then get it into the eddy behind so I could empty it.
Grab my behind, sir. I will.
After tidying up my boat, we were planning our approach and attack on this next section of river, but noticed the gentleman coming along the top of the wall above Lena. From my side of the river, it was hard to pick up what this guy was saying, but he seemed to be saying that we shouldn't be on the river between March and November because of an access agreement with regards to salmon coming up the river, something we didn't know anything about.
Well, we'll get off as soon as possible, but I'm assuming you don't want us in your garden. I'm sorry, I can't properly hear you. Speak to Lee. I can't hear you. Yeah, thank you. What can you see from there, Lena? Because I can't see. Are you going to go or do you want me to go?
With our rebuke from the guy and a bunch of his friends watching from the balcony of his house, we were keen not to stuff up as we headed down this rocky section of river. Now, after clearing this section of river, I caught up with Lena, and what the gentleman had said, and he was quite reasonable about it, was that there is now an agreement in place that paddlers don't paddle this section of river between March and November. But the thing is, I checked a popular UK Rivers Guide website the night before, and there is nothing on there about there being an agreement in place or any restrictions. In fact, it specifically says, and I've checked this again today in July 2017 when I am editing this, that there is no access agreement in place and that people are paddling this river year round. So that needs to be updated, and contrary to what the gentleman said, it's not on all the websites. Who the agreement is between, I've no idea. How I'm supposed to know about that, I've no idea. But all I can recommend is for people to check more than one source of information before making their decisions about where to go. But anyway, back to the challenges of the Crake.
That was a bit of a surprise. My eyes didn't adjust properly. Yeah. Went from sunning my eyes to looking into the dark with sunnies on. I was like, there's some white water in here.
We weren't far from the end now, from Greenodd, from where the Crake meets the sea at the top of Morecambe Bay. But the challenges were not going to let up. There was water flowing into trees, through trees. It was hard to see what was going on, from bright sunshine to dark, overcast, shadowed areas of forest. And we were going to have to work all the way down to the end, it seemed. I slowed to make sure I kept contact with the other two behind me, and then I heard Lena shouting.
Right!
Lena was shouting at me to stop because Spoons was in the water.
Didn't let go quick enough.
What happened?
As I come round that big bit of hazel sticking out, this bit got hooked on the branch, and it went flop like that. And before I knew it, that had just gone in, and I just went that way, and I had to walk back up and get my paddle out of the tree. It was still in it.
And have you still got both campions? You've got one on this side. Oh, the campions are in. And I got a present for you.
Oh, me map!
Soggy map!
Soggy map! It's the only thing that weren't tied in the boat. Got me case, got me water bottle, paddle.
Don't worry, you'll get used to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm in!
Well, both of the times today when I've got water over the gunnels, strictly speaking, I have not capsized today. I have not capsized. I've had water over the gunnels, but the boat, even after that weir, I stayed upright, I landed the boat, and I emptied it in the eddy behind that rock. I did not fall out of the boat.
All I heard was Jane go, oh no, he's alright.
But Spoons, you're right, it happens so quick.
Yeah. Literally half a second. I've gone
Yeah.
from getting the paddles caught up to I'm in the water.
Because this is deceptive. It's a little creek, but there's a lot of water coming down there, and you see it like that bit where the guy had a chat to us. After that was chunky coming down there.
He was actually quite pleasant.
Yeah.
Despite being a little damp, Spoons was in good spirits as always, and he'd even managed to keep his red campions attached to his helmet. We'd all had our little mishaps on the Crake. It had been a real adventure, but now, not far from the end, we were determined to enjoy the rest of it, soak up the lovely natural surroundings and the beautiful sunshine. It certainly is nice to be out in the summer despite the clear access hassles that we had or that people might have on this river going forwards. The other thing I would mention is the green foliage and the low-hanging branches really did make this a lot more difficult to paddle and a lot more tricky to see than when I've paddled this in the winter. So I would suggest to most people, if you're not familiar with the Crake, regardless of the access, I would paddle this in the winter months when the trees are barer and you can see what's going on. Just check the water levels, of course.
Tree in the river, but you can get underneath it. Just a bit more chunky than some of them that we've had.
Like the first tree hazard spanning the whole river that was a chunky bit of tree, that last tree hazard would also be a significant danger in stronger flow. So anybody paddling the river, I don't think that either of those are going to go away anytime soon, so just be wary of those trees, that birch tree high up and those two interlocking trees further down right across the river with water flowing into those. That would be a problem. But here we find ourselves on the last little section of river. It's tidal here, but the tide was out today when we finished, and there was one little last drop to do under the bridge at Greenodd, and then we were finished.
back at our base camp now on the shores of Lake Windermere, where we run our expedition canoeing skills course from, and we've had a good adventure today. I think everyone thoroughly enjoyed it. It was technical in places, it was beautiful all the way along, from the lovely surrounds of Coniston all the way down through the Crake, right down to the tidal waters on the edge of Morecambe Bay. It was lovely, interesting nature all along the way. The technical rapids, low-hanging trees caused us some interesting paddling moments, and yeah, everyone had a good time, I think. Let's see what the other two thought. How was your day, Spoons?
Very good, yeah, absolutely brilliant. One of the best days actually for different things, starting off on the lake with a little bit of a headwind, then going into really overgrown bushes as well, some real nice technical bits, and I've managed to fall in. I've actually broke my duck and went in, come around this bit of a right hand bend, got my canoe paddle caught in this big branch of hazel that was coming over, and before I knew it, that was in. I was getting wet. Looked up, where's my canoe paddle, looked back to where I come in, and it's still hanging in the tree, so I had to go back up and get it out. But it all happened so quick. You think, oh, I'll have time to think about things, but you don't. Before you know it, you're getting wet, and that's it.
How was your day, Lena?
Well, today, how was it? Do you know, it was surprisingly technical in parts. Now, what was the name of this river again? All I'll tell you,
the Crake.
Don't underestimate small rivers. I've had a blinding day. We've had a really good time. As Paul's and Spoons and Paul have probably said already, there's been lots of trees, so you've had to be on your toes. And don't underestimate what a tree can do, because all of us have had a little dunking, and every time it's generally to avoid a branch and whatnot. So I think be on your game. I've had a great day. It's been beautiful weather, been great rapids, and we're down by Morecambe Bay nearly soon. So game on. It's been fabulous. Fabulous.
Superb.
Thank you. Let's go again.